Okay. Now we'll start off, we'll push on, we'll get the power going. We are fighting the outgoing tide, so the tide is pushing against us around about 8 miles per hour, leaving London, going out to the North Sea. It's about 30 miles behind us. So we'll stick the power on, get moving over the tide. Our first bridge on our journey today. It is the world famous London Bridge. I can tell by your faces you are amazed. People always get confused between London Bridge and Tower Bridge behind us. Now, London Bridge, if you've ever heard the nursery rhyme, London Bridge is falling down, this is true. Now this one is at least the 5th bridge to stand here. The previous one to this was slowly sinking into the Thames mud, taken down in 1967, shipped over to the USA, where it now stands across Lake Havasu in the states of Arizona as the old London Bridge.
Yep, I was there.
To the right, in between the buildings, you can see the monument for the Great Fire of London. People up the top, a golden candle up there, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. Lay it down in a westerly direction, it pinpoints where the fire started. A nice picture as we go through, words London Bridge engraved into the stonework. Now to the left, any children, in between the buildings, a pirate's ship. Now it is the replica of Sir Francis Drake's boat, the Golden Hind. The replica ship has done more sea miles than the original. This one has been around the world twice, taking the same routes that Drake took. Permanently moored here now as a floating museum. Now the next bridge, Cannon Street. If you look to the right hand side of it, between the towers used to be a lovely glass roof. It was taken down during the war in fear of being damaged by a bomb. Taken down piece by piece, moved to a warehouse in the Kent countryside for safekeeping. The station itself never received a direct hit, but the warehouse in Kent did, completely destroying our lovely glass roof. Now, if you've got a bit of spare time, a strong recommendation is visiting one of London's oldest and nicest pubs to the left. It is called the Anchor at Bankside. Now it's been here since 1615. Now William Shakespeare used the pub. The original Globe Theatre stood where the glass fronted building now stands, the Financial Times building. Also mentioned in Samuel Pepys's diaries, since 1615 the pub has remained open. Now that's where the original theatre stood. The replica is on the other side of the bridge to the left, behind the next pier. A white circular building with a browning, greeny, thatched roof. It's the replica of Shakespeare's Globe Playhouse Theatre. It was the first authentic thatched roof building to be built in London after the Great Fire in 1666. Now they show performances in the original way, with no stage lighting, no speakers and no microphones inside. Just like the original theatre, it is also open aired. Doesn't have a roof in the centre. Now next to it, impossible to miss, is the large brick building with a tall centre chimney and a glass roof. Now it's the old Bankside power station. It is now home to the world's largest, most popular modern art gallery. Now it's called the Tate Modern. If you like modern arts, it is free of charge to go inside. Now if you know anything about modern arts, you'll know why it's free of charge to go inside. You can see a pile of bricks stacked up neatly to look like a pile of bricks. A mirror, when you look in it, you see yourself. Incredible pieces of art inside. Quickly to the right, under the bridge, St. Paul's Cathedral. Easy to remember the heights. 365 feet tall. 8 foot for every single day of the year. Designed once again by Sir Christopher Wren. But ahead of us now, Blackfriars Bridges. 2 bridges that stand very close together. Now therefore, they form some kind of a tunnel. This is said to be the Thames Tunnel of Love. Now legend says, as we go through, if you turn to the one that you love, give them a kiss. You'll be blessed with years and years of happiness.
Gotta get ready for that one, are you?
Any single ladies? Hello. Any single gentleman? Captain Simon. Yeah, he's open-minded. Of course, if you're not here today with the one that you love, just turn to your husband or your wife, kiss them. It works in the same way. Look in between the bridges, you will see some red columns. Now they're what remains of London's first railway bridge. If they take these columns out, it'll ruin the foundations for the bridges either side.
Okay.
Now if you look down at the water, you can see how fast the tide is leaving London. Now the tidal range is between 0 and 7.5 meters in height. It's about 25 feet difference between low and high water. We get 2 high waters a day, 2 low waters. Now the tide's still got about 3 meters to drop before we're at low water. The tide goes out for 7 hours, it comes in for 5. It is the strong tide that gives the Thames its distinctive brown colour. Now the Thames is a mud-based river. The strong tide is constantly churning up the mud, rising it up to the surface, giving it a distinctive colour. If you take a glass of this water, leave it to stand for about 5 minutes, the mud sinks to the bottom, the water becomes clear. Now they say you can drink the water from this river. You can. It will kill you, but you can drink the water from the Thames. It is the only water you can drink and chew at exactly the same time. It's pretty grim. Now, stand out of the way of the wind a little bit. Keeping in the theme of the tide, if we look to the right, once we're past the last barge, look to the river wall. At the very top, you will see green lions' heads with rings in their mouths. Now these are an early tidal flood warning. If the water reached the lions' mouths, the police would alert the buildings in fear the tide would come over the River Moor. Now, to remember this, the police, the Victorian police, they had an old-fashioned rhyme. If you know it, if you can work it out, join in. It went, if the lions' heads are drinking, then London is
Sinking.
sinking. You can see we're struggling. If you are struggling, you're in luck. There's a modern version. It goes, if the lions' heads are ducked, London is flooded. Doesn't quite roll the tongue as well as the first one. Stay to the right. Look either side of the streets. A silver and red dragon breathing fire. This is a boundary marker. A boundary marker for the 1 square mile city of London. It goes from here down to Tower Bridge, staying over to the right hand side. It's a separate city than the rest of London. It's got its own hospital, its own police force. Briefly, one time, it had its own currency as well. The City of London. Coming up on the right, a black and white barge with a black tented roof. These days it's called the Yacht of London. Its original name was the St. Catherine. It was owned by the Queen. This used to be the royal barge up until 1972. Now, when it was decommissioned, it was brought here to Temple Pier, opened inside as a luxury river restaurant. The Queen's old boat, the yachts. Now, Waterloo Bridge ahead of us. We'll start talking about it now. There's quite a lot to fit in. Now, this bridge is called the Ladies' Bridge. And it's called the Ladies' Bridge because this one was heavily damaged during World War II. The men were away, the ladies of London rebuilt it. It was rebuilt from a 90% female workforce. Now, credit to our girls, it is the longest bridge in London, just over a quarter of a mile long. The only bridge to finish on time and under budget, so credit to our girls. It is also made very cleverly. Now, if you take a normal rock, a normal stone, leave it out in the rain, over the years it discolours. Portland stone self-cleanses when it comes into contact with rainwater. It's why the sides are clean, underneath is grimy green and dirty. You can see the edges where the water drains down. It shows you how clean it should actually be. Portland stone, self-cleansing.
Nothing sticks to it.
Now it's getting old. There's Big Ben there.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you've got your cameras with you, we'll go to the right. Once we're past the large white boats, you will see an Egyptian needle. Now, it's called Cleopatra's needle. Now, it is the oldest thing in London. It is older than the 1 square mile city of London, which we just spoke about. This tall Egyptian needle. It was brought to London in the 1800s, but it stands there over 3,000 years old. Make sure you take the opportunity to get the perfect, uninterrupted photograph. Now, our next bridge, Charing Cross. If you're on the top deck, it is wise for you to look up at the people, wave and smile at them. Now, encourage them to wave back. Basically, people like to throw things from bridges. We wave to keep their hands busy. You can tell where they are from. Now, if they wave back, it means they're on holiday. If they ignore you, it means they're from London, so don't take any offence. We'll toot the horn as we get closer. We'll try and get their attention. What do we got? Holiday makers. Now there's a bridge again, the other side, and we will do the same again. You'll also hear trains passing over your head. The only points where we go over and under a railway line. There we go. Hello, Mum. Now, over to the right, it is London's most popular tourist attraction. It is the London Eye. Now, the London Eye was built by British Airways for the year of 2000. Originally, it was only meant to be here until 2005. Left here ever since because of the amount of money that it earns. On a good summer's day, the London Eye can earn in the region of £250,000 every day. It's got 32 individual capsules or pods, represent the 32 boroughs of London. Now it takes 30 minutes to do a complete rotation around. It moves on average 4 miles per hour. You get off, you get on, whilst the wheel is still rotating. Now the latest craze, the latest